Last in the SEC, they have surprised a lot of folks, except for themselves. They knew what they could do. They started out the season 20-0.
And there is Rhodey, the 16 home runs, a program record. Hit a couple against Alabama. And went 3 for 4 last night. So they are ready to go against Texas A&M. Did not see each other during the regular season. They're going to get the best that the Aggies have to offer in Emily Kennedy, one of the top aces in the country, the senior from the Woodlands in Texas. 19-4 with a 2.57 ERA. Got 6 shutouts on the season. She can bring it. And what she's been able to do is add a little more finesse to her game over the course of her career.
Well, but you know how it is. A lot of times we categorize lefties as crafty, right? The way they spin the ball. Not Kennedy. She is more power lefty. He will burn the hand of that catcher. I mean, she will get up over 70 miles an hour.
I love how Tricia Ford talks about her, and paraphrasing here, she's always been heavy metal, and now she's adding a little smooth jazz to the playlist. Got the high heat, but also got to lull you to sleep a bit down the bottom of the zone.
Yeah, she mixes it up. I mean, she's got the rise ball. She also has some good vertical separation with that drop ball, with the changeup. And that's what good pitchers do, right? By the time you're a senior, if you're really an artist of the craft of pitching, you learn to develop tools, multiple tools to be able to come out. Multiple paintbrushes.
Paintbrushes, yeah. Painting on different surfaces. 1-2. One of the best with the canvas, Michelle Smith. 71 miles an hour to kick things off.
Wow.
Against Quincy Lelio, the transfer from Oklahoma, has a couple of championship rings, wanted a little more playing time, and has gotten that with the Gamecocks. 2-2. Chops that back up the middle. The charge for Dement. And how about that play for the freshman? KK gets the out, one away.
That's just some elite fielding right there for KK. Look at the way she's going to charge this ball. She knows she's got to go get it, and then she's going to throw off the run. Good stretch over at first by Amari Harper, and of course Kennedy's loving that first out of the game with that D behind her.
That'll bring up Carly Shelton. Sophomore from Lexington, South Carolina. 2 for 4, scored 3 times in the Alabama game last night. Homegrown talent who graduated early to go to Columbia. Mom Bonnie was a terrific softball player at Charlotte, which is where head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard came from most recently. Success with the 49ers, getting to the NCAA tournament, and now back at her alma mater, replacing Bev Smith, who was one of her coaches when she played there. Picked up her first SEC tournament win yesterday after a surprise finish in the regular season. They were picked dead last. They finished 7th. And they have a chance to host not only a regional, but a super regional. That top 8's gonna, it's so competitive for the selection committee to try and figure that out.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of things that come into play in that top 8. The seeding, obviously, drivability, SOS, right? Pre-conference, SOS was a big part of every SEC team, because you know your conference RPI and strength of schedule is going to be off the charts.
Full count. Shelton skies that out to center. Allie Enright, 2 down. Sun has set. That has cooled things off nicely this evening here in Athens after a steamy hot afternoon. 2 semifinals tomorrow, the championship Saturday night. Here is the matchup, Kennedy against Rhodey. Junior from Cranston, Rhode Island, an All-American Athletic Conference performer at Charlotte last year. A handful of 49ers coming with their head coach. Told us she was confident. She knew they could perform in the SEC because she did it herself. When she was a player, went from a smaller school to Carolina.
Well, even though they were mid-major, I mean, she would schedule tough every year.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd look at Charlotte, and every year you were like, okay, who are they going to go in and beat? You know they're going to beat somebody in the SEC. They're going to take a midweek. And it's not going to surprise us because they were always so strong.
And the swing and a miss for Kennedy, her first strikeout. It's a 1-2-3 start. Aggies picking up the bats when we come back.
Kennedy showing why she is one of the best in the game. That backdoor curveball, a lot of late sharp movement, picks up her first K of the game.
The soccer stadium right next door here to Jack Turner Stadium. And the Texas A&M Aggies, the last team to jump into the fray here at the SEC tournament. The 2 seed goes with Powell and Woolley up top, followed by Maya Perez, who is the starting DP tonight, putting up huge numbers. And an All-American caliber season with 13 home runs, 63 RBIs. She's batting close to 450 on the season. They've got the speed, they've got the power. And as they were talking about on the set prior to the game, this is a well-balanced group. You're not going to find them at the top of any statistic category, but they're right there, you know, upper middle of the pack in most everything. And they can turn to just about anybody in this lineup any given night to get the hot hand. Powell's a junior out of Conroe, Texas. Over 100 starts now for the Aggies since transferring from UCLA. We're facing Sam Gress. Sam got the start last night. Threw 4 innings against Alabama, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. For the 6th year out of Harrisburg, PA. Powell was still in the batter's box when it hit her. 12-8 on the season with a 2.95 ERA. Sam and Jory Hurd were a terrific 1-2 punch in their opener yesterday.
Yeah, outstanding, really. Controlled the strike zone, shut down Alabama.
Beat the Tide 6-2. Powell to second. Quick to get it out of her glove and over is Shelton. 1 down.
Well, Sam Gress has a lot of different tools that she can use. A rise ball at the top of the zone. You can see the way that she's going to get it underneath that pitch. She'll throw it up near your eyes and get you to chase. She'll be in that mid-60s. But she also does a good job of really painting the corners. She has been a workhorse for them. 38 appearances. And is just the heartbeat, coach says.
That's what they say. Yeah, she and Hurd have pitched about the same amount of innings, and then Neely Lamb is a third arm they can go to if necessary. Here's Coco Woolley in the 2 spot. Senior from LaPorte, Texas. A terrific finish to the regular season for her. They took 2 of 3 from Tennessee, and she was 5 of 9 with a couple of extra base hits, busting out of a late season slump. Hoping to carry that over into the postseason. Coach Tricia Ford calls her the most dynamic she's ever coached. 5th all-time in hits and stolen bases, 6 in runs scored for the Aggies. They've won a couple of national championships, but it's been a minute. Have spent a lot of time at the Women's College World Series, but again, that's been a while. And this is one of the best they've had with chance to get back to the World Series. 5-6 hole, and it scoots through for Coco.
And that is just great hitting for Coco. Even though Blankenship and Chansey were slid over to try to protect that 5-6 hole, this is just all about really good bat control. Pitch up in the zone, and she just knows if she can barrel that down, get that downward angle, she can shoot it through that 5-6 hole. She gets it past both Chansey and Blankenship, picks up the first base hit of the game.
Here's Maya Perez. Sophomore from Corona, California. A reserve last year, moved into the starting lineup this year because Tricia Ford said she spent the summer working on the best version of herself. Taking care of herself off the field, putting the work in on the field. You know, it's often those moments when nobody's watching that you improve the most. She grounds out there, 2 down, bumps Woolley over to second.
On a couple of 0-2 pitches that are close to the zone, Coco ends up getting a base hit. Perez ends up grounding out to Rhodey, but see Gressick try to expand that zone when you've got an 0-2 count.
Mac Barbara. Second in the SEC in RBIs for the senior from Long Branch during league play. .371 on the year, the OPS over 1,000, and an early conference. She's one of these hitters in the lineup. Dangerous, can change it with one swing.
100%, and first base is open, but you know, you can't say enough about Mac Barbara. She's now catching. She has not been catching all season long. You think to this point of the season, if you've been catching, you know, you've got your best behind the plate. They've had some unfortunate injuries. Olivia Johnson was injured not long ago. So Barbara has just been put in this position. She had been DHing for basically the entire year. Oh, by the way, okay, put the tools of ignorance on and get behind that plate and catch Kennedy, one of the best pitchers in the game. Sure, no problem. And she's still whacking it.
Started out her career in the SEC, then left for San Diego State, and now back as a grad student. 6 years in the business, over 225 college games. Really good with 2 outs, hitting over 400.
Well, there's really nowhere to hide because Amari Harper is protecting her.
Two and one.
She look good at Amari Harper, and you know, she's just as powerful. Maybe not quite the home runs that Barbara has, but higher average.
Got Mac to chase. 2 and 2.
Gress is good as that. She is not afraid to throw that pitch right down the middle of the plate, and that's how you get hitters to bite at that. You got to trust your movement, trust your location.
Full count. Doesn't chase, draws the walk. And a couple on with 2 outs. Here's Mari Harper. She's really good with 2 outs also. 444 on the season. Another Corona, California product.
Oh.
.382 on the year. Again, an OPS over 1,000. Real strong in the middle of this batting order.
It's an A&M team that does not strike out a lot, only 162 on the year. Take a look at her numbers, RBI numbers way up this year. Batting average up.
Couple on with 2 outs. Amari Harper. Sends another one out of play. Aggies trying to strike first. Some self-talk in the batter's box. And it is another full count.
And on the flip side of not striking out a lot, they've done a good job of drawing the walks. 206 walks on the year.
And it's back-to-back walks to the 4 and 5 hitters. Bases are loaded for the Aggies.
Good job by both Barbara and Harper on 3-2 counts, not to chase out of the zone on pitches that were close at a full count. Easy to do, especially when you have that runner in scoring position.
Boy, we have seen a lot of Grand Slam opportunities here at the SEC tournament. Seen a couple leave the yard, and here's a chance for KK DeMent. Bases loaded in the bottom of the first. Freshman out of Selma, California, another one of the 300 hitters with double-digit home runs. She's got 2 slams this year, including one here at Georgia, at the Jack.
All these teams have talked about the fast start, scoring early, that first inning, how important it is. Opportunity here for Texas A&M to really set the stage.
Change up in for a strike.
And that's one of the pitches that Sam Gresh throws so well. We talk about a rise ball, ability to locate the fastball on the corners, but that changeup, she'll throw it about 22% of the time, and it is knee buckling.
Gresh trying to work out of a jam early. And now a 2-strike count. One-two pitch to KK DeMent. Bases full of Aggies. Waits on the change and pops it up, and they will leave them loaded. Side retired, scoreless through 1.
Has been phenomenal. Trisha Ford told us at her core she's a chucker, but now she has a lot more tools in her toolbox and has really learned the art of pitching, but it's been forced learning. She said when she first got here she was primarily a drop ball pitcher her whole life, but she said now you're going to be different, and they've really forced her to change. They said you cannot throw your curve. Look at her freshman year, so curveball heavy, 45%. they took it away, forced her to get other tools, and one of those tools they forced her to get was the rise ball. So not only is she in and out, now she's up and down. That toolbox is expanded. The art of pitching is in her pocket.
Put that screwball on the shelf, Smitty.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of lefties known very much for curveballs. So curveballs away from lefties into righties and then backdoor. So on the back half, trying to blend it in. The problem with curveballs, though, a lot of times is they don't always change planes. You need to blend them with the rise, like we call that sometimes. A scrise, if it's a little bit of a screwball rise ball, or a curveball backdoor, a little bit up, a little bit down to it. But the vertical separation is really how you want to miss barrels as well. And Kennedy's doing a lot more of that these days.
Looking for her 20th win of the season here tonight. And a chance to get South Carolina into the, or Texas A&M into the semifinals. They were there last year, got knocked out by Florida. Here's Lexi Winters for Carolina, 4, 5, and 6. One for 2 against Alabama, walked a couple times, scored a run for the former Gamecock back girl. And now living the dream in full uniform.
I always love those stories. Been waiting and working a long time to put that uniform on.
Full count here to Winters. And a base runner for the Gamecocks. Their first of the night.
I think that's the one area that Kennedy has struggled with a little bit this year. 74th walk of the year in her 138 innings. So almost about a walk every other inning.
Here's Ella Chansey. 2 for 4, drove in a couple runs in the Alabama win to the right side. That'll move the runner over, 1 down. Takes care of the chance to advance.
Good productive out for Chansey.
Brooke Blankenship out of Hudson, Florida. Oh for 4 against the Tide on the season, a .269 hitter. Gets a swing and miss. Strikeout number 2 for Kennedy, 2 down.
Kennedy will go right at you. You need 3 strikes to strike someone out, that's fine. I'll throw 3 pitches, bam, bam, bam.
Bam, bam.
It's a curveball in the outer half. It's got a little up to it. Second strikeout of the game for Kennedy.
Using that curveball effectively tonight. Here's Abigail Knight.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with the curveball too, that Kennedy, so she can blend that. We talked about the curve, but it just takes a little bit of the wrist to make that pitch move in versus move a little up.
Ball out.
One of the best in the business at doing that with Kat Osterman on the left side, right?
Yeah.
So her drop would move multiple planes, and that's what you're starting to see Emily Kennedy do as she has matured over her time at Texas A&M, and also worked with a very good pitching coach, Coach Ford.
Right, Tricia works so well with the pitching staff. Now in her 3rd season, they just keep getting better. Back-to-back trips to the NCAAs. First year was a regional, last year was a super regional. They took Texas to the brink in Austin. She was teasing us, you know, yet there's a lot of talk about them being the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. She said, we want a chip on our shoulder. We want to be the underdog. We said, all right, if you get it, we'll just tell you guys that you don't deserve it, and then you can put your chip on your shoulder. But
great.
the numbers don't lie. They deserve it. And South Carolina is going to grab the early lead here. Abigail Knight scoring Lexi Winters.
And that ball's just going to find the green, but the reason they end up scoring is because Chansey goes right side, first out of the inning. That moves Winters into scoring position, and that productive out gives them the opportunity to put a run on the board. That ball falls in. Knight getting just enough of it beyond the reach of KK Demet, and the Gamecocks are on the board.
#7 hitter coming through clutch. And it started with a walk to lead off the inning.
Yeah, those are the killers, the leadoff walks.
Michelle Smith's favorite thing in the world.
I know. I harp on it. People are probably like, no more about that, please.
There's Emma Sellers. Well, we've seen it a ton here. Walks coming in to score this whole tournament.
Well, there's just some there's non-negotiables when it comes to pitching, or the cardinal sins, whatever you want to call it. It's the, leadoff walks. It's walking the 8 or 9 hole. It's just those things that always come back to haunt you, Beth. It doesn't. It's like the softball gods know. They're like, we will punish you for that.
Kennedy cooling down a little bit, and now a conversation with her head coach. Gamecocks are 24-5 this season when they score first. And they have scored first. What you got, Holly?
Well, Tricia Ford told us that Emily Kennedy is just finally starting to feel like herself again. She has been battling injuries this season, a leg injury. She's had to fight through that, and she's just now rounding back into shape. So a little bit of a tough outing right now, but she's starting to feel better.
Well, and she's always had that mentality. Do you want the ball? Yeah, I do want the ball. And especially in the big games in the postseason. Is really motivated to get to the World Series to play for a championship. And in a bit of a bind here in the second. Couple of walks.
Well, part of that recipe, too, is like, how much do you use your ace? I mean, we've seen some schools not really have an ace. There have been, though, the returners where you've got that one arm that you know is your best arm, and they're going to get all the big games. But there's a big responsibility of coaches to, throughout the season, and especially a very hard SEC season, make sure that that pitching arm is not worn out by the time you get to the postseason.
And Kennedy gets another strikeout, her third. But South Carolina out in front here in beautiful night here in Athens, Georgia. It's the last of our quarterfinals. Winner moves on to face Texas in the semis tomorrow night. After the Longhorns got a walk-off win over Ole Miss, Mia Scott run-scoring double. A&M down a run. It's 7, 8, and 9 coming up. Here's Allie Enright. Facing Sam Gress. Got in a bit of a bind in the first, but then worked out of it with the bases loaded. Got KK Demet to pop up and end the threat. So Sam's back to work against the 285 hitter. Hits that strike zone at 67 miles an hour. Started at NC State in Charlotte. She's been an all-conference. She's been a comeback player of the year. Returned from injury. Coaching staff loves her intensity. Think it's a family trait. One-two to Enright.
Gress using that changeup effectively. Throws with a lot of heat at that changeup tonight. When she's flipping it, oof, hard to pick up.
And gets the strikeout. Holly?
Well, Sam Gress has had a long journey, 6th year, and her parents have not missed a minute of her career this season, wanting to be close to her and watch, but they have a very unique way of doing it. Look at Mom. She sits in the outfield by herself. It's just too stressful to be around anybody else when Sam's pitching, so there she is. Jean's there. And Dad, he's up at the top. Mike can't stand it either, so I just think this is so cute. Pitching parents are the best. A little superstitious.
Mike moved tonight. He's further away. He was a little further down the concourse yesterday, and I'm guessing he cannot move from that spot, and he has to keep rocking back and forth.
That's great.
Any superstitious parent or fan knows that when things are going well, you cannot mess with that mojo. Mom looking for a second strikeout in a row. Fouls that away. Oh, somebody's telling her she's on TV.
Waved everybody.
Let's see, is she going to take a picture of our camera? Taking a picture of her on her camera, taking a picture. 0-2 to Kramer Eschte. And it is a punch out, 2 in a row. Yeah, Mom.
Look at Mom. Let's go.
And the whistle.
And I love the control. Look at the way she's really just been painting the corners. Really good location. That's a fastball in the inner half. It's got a little bit of slide to it, and Dad is celebrating as well as Mom. Ooh,
How many punch outs you think Dad has had this year?
It's probably a pretty good workout.
We have that number, 93. Including the last 2. So here's Kelsey Mathis, the freshman from Waco, Texas, getting the start tonight. Just her 3rd of the season. Holly Rowe did some snooping around pregame. She was telling us that Coach said she wanted Kelsey to have this experience. She's earned it. Put her in this pressure cooker, see how she does. They may need her at some point later in this tournament or in the NCAAs.
Very good freshman class for Texas A&M. Difference makers right away.
They've played another freshman, Frankie Razzle, a lot too. Razzle Dazzle, not in the lineup tonight, but could be available.
Razzle's been outstanding for him. Obviously, KK Dennett as well. And we've seen that. A lot of these highly ranked programs have relied on the young guns to come in the circle, in the field, with the bats.
Can she strike out the side? Sam Gress, 2-2. Mathis sends it away. Foul ball for Kelsey.
Gress always talking to her fielders, always pointing at Blankenship, Shelton, the middle infielders, giving winners behind the dish love. Oh, nice changeup.
Well, we've talked to a few teams that have a lot of transfers or are starting a new era, and it's amazing what winning will do for you. They started out the year 20-0. South Carolina, and how quickly winning can bring you together. And you get that formula right, like they did. Doesn't get Mathis to chase full count.
Yeah, the winning, the buy-in, all that hard work pays off.
Good at bat here for the Rook. And a shot out to right center and a base hit for Mathis in her SEC tournament debut. And the 9 spot passes the bat to the top.
How about the freshman in the 9 hole? Just works to a full count and then gets a rise ball that is not quite elevated enough because it's a 3-2 count, trying to protect that zone, not wanting to walk the 9 hole. Gress has to come close to the zone, and Mathis picks up a hit here.
Well, the Aggies tying run aboard. Back to Kennedy Powell. Down to the second or first time up. First pitch swinging, gets a hold of one. Back it goes, and it's gone. 2-run home run. Into our center field set, and the Aggies have the lead. First of the season for the leadoff.
How about that? Leadoff hitter, known more for her speed, ability to get on base, create havoc on the infield. First pitch swinging and just gets all into a pitch she can drive out of the yard. But you got to give some kudos to Mathis in the 9 hole that works a really, really long at bat. And so what does Mathis do? Powell do? She comes up and she's even crossing over and still drives that out of the yard.
From long ball to short ball, pressure on the defense for Coco Woolley, and a bunt single.
How about Coco Woolley now? She's going to read that the defense is deep. Chansey at third base is late getting to this ball, but to me, this is a no-throw situation. If you're that late and Woolley with all that speed, you know you're not going to throw her out, even if you have a good throw down and a clean throw down to Rhodey at first.
Oh, Coco's all fired up down there at first base, legging that out. She is a threat to steal, 14 of 16 on the season. Activity already in the bullpen. Jory Hurd is up. She got the win in relief against Alabama last night. Stunning turn of events after Gress looked like she was running the show. Back-to-back strikeouts to open the inning. Mathis, a 9-pitch at-bat singles. And then Kennedy Powell hits her first home run in a year. Got to go back to last May. And here comes Maya Perez, Mac Barbara, and Amari Harper, a terrific trio in the heart of this order. The single season record is 72, and Maya is threatening that. Grounded to first, back in the first. Runner goes, the throw down is high, and sliding in safely is Coco Woolley. So into scoring position with 2 outs.
Coco picking a good pitch to run on, changeup. I have to wonder if they've picked Gress's change.
15th on the season for Coco. Perez blasts that one the opposite way. And that leaves the yard. Maya's still motoring to second. She doesn't realize it. They're telling her, keep going. It hit our camera deck out there. And it's the second 2-run shot of the inning. And there they go for the second time. The Aggies breaking out Homer the Horse and the Howdy Hat.
The howdy hat coming out because another ball goes out of the yard. This one inside out. Look at the way that Perez is going to get all into that ball. Going opposite field. Just really good extension. Celebration for the Aggies.
The ball got out so fast, Maya was trying to break the world speed record running around the bases because it looked like it may have hit off the top of the fence. And it's 4-1 Texas A&M, and that will be it for Sam Gress. Pitching change for Carolina.
Wow.
So the new pitcher is Jory Hurd, her second relief appearance in as many days for the junior. And things changed in a hurry for Texas A&M. So Carolina will bring on Hurd, 16-3 in the season. And some of the bubbles they were blowing down in the Aggie dugout have drifted up to the press box. But you can check out the numbers of Jory Hurd right there. They are celebrating 2 home runs, 4 straight hits on 5 pitches after Sam Gress had struck out the first 2 in the inning and was cruising.
Yeah, it looked like she was going to retire the side in order, 7, 8, and 9. And then, again, Mathis in that 9-hole working that long at-bat. That single turning over the lineup.
It was a game changer for Kelsey in her postseason debut. 2-run homer, Kennedy Powell. 2-run homer, Maya Perez. And another home run threat right here, Mac Barbara. Trailed 1-0 coming into this at-bat. And not anymore. Barbara walked her first time up. So did Amari Harper right behind her. Big rally on 2 for the Aggies.
Ball down.
Look at the last 4 batters going 4 for 4 after the first 2 struck out. And 2 long balls from the top of the order.
A&M doing a good job just identifying what's coming. I mean, when you start to take away pitches from a pitcher, it is a game changer. And that changeup is a big pitch for Gress. And when she doesn't have it to go to, it's easy to sit hard, just get extended.
Barbara. And that gets under the glove of Rhodey. And the inning continues with the error. That last home run from Maya Perez. And a fun moment for her and her teammates. Look, she thinks she got a double off the wall. And she's like, what? Oh, I can keep going? All right. And from the sprint, now she's in her home run trot.
That's awesome.
Oh. And now she's getting her groove on in the dugout. That's what happens when you send one out. Big inning for A&M. Amari Harper will try and extend it, and she does. Well, they are playing Pepper right now.
It's called a hit parade. And all of this with 2 outs. And Amari Harper is just going to poke this ball the opposite way. Great line drive, just meeting barrel to ball, putting it out on the green. Third first pitch hit this inning, so A&M being very aggressive here in this second inning.
There's KK Dement, the 9th, to the plate.
Ball.
All coming with 2 outs. 5 hits and an error, extending the inning. Two on base. Joey Hurd trying to end this inning. And a bouncer off of Chansey. And a couple of mishaps in the infield, extending the inning. And now the bases are loaded for Allie Enright, who started this whole thing off.
On a well-struck ball, just takes a funny hop at the end. It's just going to come right up on Chansey. We'll see how they score this.
It's going to be an E5, second of the inning for this infield. That bounced up and hit Chansey in the neck. Oh, big red mark there.
See that last hop right there. Boom, it just pops right up against her.
So now the base is loaded again, and here's Allie Enright. Struck out to start this inning. So they've hit around. 0-2.
We've seen a lot of big innings. Couple of teams. Look at this second inning.
A couple of 2-run home runs. 7 of 9 have reached, and they're still loaded right now. Barbara, Harper, and Dement. Enright, slow roller to second, and that will finally end it. They leave them loaded, but not before 4 across the plate.
Kennedy Powell, how about in the leadoff position? She's crossing over and she still pops it out of the yard. First home run of the year for Powell. And then how about Perez? She's gonna go Apo Taco, pitch on the outer half. She drives that out of the yard. Two-run shots for A&M. They are in control. Warner really expanding that zone, not giving South Carolina anything to hit. 3 big strikeouts on the game.
And to the top of the third we go. Now, instead of working with a deficit, Kennedy working with a 4-1 lead. Lilio on the top of the order. She grounded out her first time up. Has retired 6 of the 9 she's faced. Just out of her reach, but not out of Coco's. One down.
That's one thing about Coco. She's so fun to watch. I remember when she was a freshman, she stepped into that shortstop position, and I was blown away by her range. That ball up the middle, it looks like it might sneak through. No way. Coco getting it to it.
Senior and the freshman, they've been together side by side in that middle infield. What you got, Holly?
Well, Tricia Ford calls Coco Woolley her most dynamic player she's ever coached. Her range is insane. She can get to every ball, and sometimes it'll get a hit, and she'll be like, oh, darn, that's a hit. No, it's not. Coco always seems to get there.
That's punched, and that's gone off the scoreboard for Carly Shelton. Solo swat. Let's get Carolina right back in it.
Yeah. The excitement coming out of that dugout. This is a South Carolina team that is in every ball game, no matter what their deficit is. They've done a very good job of not allowing large leads by their opponents to deter them. But this is an off-speed pitch that you can see just the way that Shelton is going to get around, and she just mashes that out of the yard. Her 4th home run of the year.
It's been the least likely to hit it out that have hit it out. Polaroid time. So here's Rhodey, who hit 2 of them out last night. 16 home runs, the single season record. She set it yesterday, and a strikeout for Kennedy. Let's go back to that Shelton home run. Off the scoreboard.
Boom.
Boink.
How about an 0-1 changeup, sends it yard.
Two down. Here's Lexi Winters after Kennedy picked up her 4th strikeout of the night. Five of their 8 runs scored in the last 2 days have come off of home runs.
Well, it's interesting because this is a South Carolina team that does not hit a lot of home runs. That was just their 40th team home run of the year. They are more of a doubles team. 93 doubles on the year. How about 236 walks? So they're good at manufacturing runs. And I think that's a big part of being successful in the SEC is knowing who you are and not trying to be what you aren't. You go up there and you swing for the fences when you're not home run hitters. It's hard to recover from that.
Actually, Chastain Woodard brought in Katie Browder and Jody Davidson, Zach Parsons with her, a staff that's been together a long time. She said they've all got a passion for the brand. The early success built a belief in them, a trust in one another. They learned how to win together. And they've proven that they can compete with anybody in the league. Kennedy gets another strikeout. What a run up on the board for Carolina.
Carly Shelton going yard on a changeup, a pitch that just stays too sweet over the zone, and she peppers that out of the yard. The lefty, her 4th home run of the year, splits the lead, but A&M still up 4-2.
Nice snag by Chansey at 3rd. She gets Kramer Estre, 1 down. Texas A&M has had the top RPI for the last month, but Oklahoma strong against the top 10. Tennessee has a good resume with some big wins in conference. Same for Florida. They beat Texas A&M and OU in their series, and Texas, with a good showing here this weekend, could certainly solidify their chances. The winner awaits the winner of this one. Or Texas awaits the winner of this one. They did not face A&M during the regular season. If you're wondering about a Texas two-step tomorrow.
That's right.
Justin.
It's always a battle. That would be a rematch of last year's Supers.
Yes.
That I feel like everybody had boxing gloves on. That
Epic.
was an epic series.
Here's Kelsey Mathis, a 9-pitch at-bat, her first time up. She singled and spurred on a rally. That's when A&M scored all 4 of their runs. All coming with 2 outs.
And that's what you want from the 9-hole. You want someone that's going to battle down there, that's going to just like wear you out.
Fly ball out to center. 2 down. So here comes Kennedy Powell. This is what she did last time up.
Well, and this is why it's her first home run of the year. She normally slaps, but she crosses over, and we'll call that a power slap. That
Power slap homer. Oh, Vidalis had a shot at it.
Did she drop that? Oh, man. I think we might need to give her.
Did they have the horse in the hat when Tori was there? I forget.
I think so. But come on, Tori. Oh, it touched. It touched. I don't know. I might have to give her an error on that one.
Yep. She did get a glove on it, so.
McKillany, come on, help her out a little bit.
At least she didn't duck.
She did reach. That's right. She didn't duck. Amanda will never live that down.
Oh, that duck lives on.
Giving the Aggies a hard time.
Down the first baseline and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Hurd. 4-2 through 3.
I love that. We always talk about those speeds and how important it is to pick it.
Yeah. For the Gamecocks of South Carolina, 9 transfers. That's the most in the country. 6 from Charlotte. They had 5 series wins, the most for them in 7 years, and the 7th seed for this SEC tournament when the preseason polls thought they'd finish last. And they are looking for a deep run into the SEC tournament and a shot at hosting. Their RPI 7, their strength of schedule 7. And both of these teams have 17 wins against the top 25. That's the most in the country.
I called their first series against Oklahoma, SEC series that is, against Oklahoma, and that was a mash fest, and they stayed in it no matter who was ahead or who was behind. I mean, this is a very gutsy South Carolina team.
All one-run games, right?
Yes, all one-run games. And actually, it was their first loss of the year. Oklahoma gave it to them, and both Oklahoma, I believe, was undefeated as well. So that was a big storyline at the time. 2 undefeated teams, the only 2 at that point. And you know, I was impressed with just the mentality, just the way they fought, and have continued throughout this entire season.
Well, their last 4 games against the #1 team in the country, all losses by 1 run. So, and Texas A&M went back to #1 this week. Although the polls not as important as things like the RPI and the KPI at this time of year.
But the interesting part is a lot of times the polls are the eye test, right? For those people that are voting, it's, you know, people that are watching the game know the teams.
Fouls off the 3-2 pitch. And another. 5, 6, 7 here in the top of the 4th. Eighth pitch of this at-bat.
Just the number of foul balls. Seen a lot today. A lot of it is just hitters, you know, just making that contact, barreling something up just to get rid of it until they get the miss, especially in a 3-2 count. The pitcher has to consistently keep coming in.
Ooh, off the mask.
Can't say enough about Mac Barbara.
Mac just needed a moment. Marty Abazishan there behind the plate with her. Marty and Susan Eads and Chris Neighbors tonight in blue. Doctor. Terrific at-bat from Chansey.
And that's what she did. She just kept fouling off pitches until there was one that was out of the zone. It's on Kennedy over and over to try to throw strikes through that zone. And this one is a backdoor curveball, just a little low. It's a little out. Chansey gets the leadoff walk.
Well, leadoff walk led to a run back in the 2nd. See if they can muster another. Blankenship struck out in the 2nd inning. Big reason for its success in the 2nd, moving that runner over with a productive out.
Yeah, and that was Chansey actually who grounded out to the right side that moved up winners.
And a single scores you. But now 2 strikes.
Yeah, and those are little things, Beth, that, you know, even though your coach is not giving you the bunt sign, and I know we've become more of a hitting game, rightfully so, with all the technology, but you still have to have an idea that my job is to.
That squirts away from Barbara, and that'll work as well.
Exactly.
There goes Chansey to second. Actually, they've changed it from a pass ball to a wild pitch.
Boy, consecutive at-bats where South Carolina has really battled Kennedy.
It's a second 10-pitch at-bat of the inning. Brooks says, I'll do you one better.
Yeah, 11. 21 pitches in the inning and has not recorded an out because of the way South Carolina has just been relentless. And Kennedy gave up that home run on her changeup. Has not really thrown it a whole lot here in this 4th inning.
Yeah. That one will be in play, and that one might score a run. Nope, they're slamming on the brakes. And a good call there on a nice throw in from Enright, but a base hit. Runners on the corners, nobody out on 19 pitches in the inning.
Wow, and that's a curveball coming in on the inner half, and look at the way that Blankenship is just going to barrel that up, shoot it right back up the middle, and that's the way you hit a curveball on the inner half if you're right-handed coming from a left arm. You just barrel that up behind that ball and drive it right back up the middle.
So South Carolina threatening. Winner gets Texas tomorrow night in our 2nd game of the doubleheader on ESPN2. First up, it's the top seed Oklahoma and the 5 seed Arkansas. OU and Texas, the newcomers to the conference, they both win in their SEC tournament debuts. So here's Abigail Knight, drove in a run in the 2nd. After that leadoff walk. Chop to second. And the tag is applied on the base runner as Chansey comes home. They're asking her if she thinks she was safe at second. And whether it's worth a challenge.
So Demina's going to get this. She's going to run after her. Chip tries to get away from her, leaves the baseline. Doesn't look like she tagged
Is
her.
the ponytail a part of the body?
Just like the uniform, so I would say yes.
That's something you're not going to see in MLB. Is the man bun part of the body? Other question is, was she forced out of the to run out of the baseline? And it appears they're not going to change their minds on this. May have swiped the back of the jersey as well.
Yeah. I mean, the big part is that she avoided the double play, which was a big part of getting Chansey home, and
So both sides are okay with that decision, but a run does come in. It's 4-3. And now the tying run on base. Sellers is the go-ahead at the plate.
both leadoff walks in the second, now in the fourth, have ended up scoring and hurting Kennedy.
A run in each of the last 3 innings for South Carolina.
Yeah, they've been relentless, especially in this inning, making Emily Kennedy throw a lot of pitches. Look at that pitch count, 80 pitches already here in the top of the fourth.
One and 2. And still just the 1 out. Sellers, ground ball to second. Dement is there again. Gets the runner out at first. Knight over to second with 2 outs for Emily Vinson in the 9 hole.
Good range by Dement to go get that ball.
Going to get a pinch runner out there at second. Nia McKnight. She now is the tying run. Carolina 6 of 8 in advancement opportunities tonight. Well executed. And a swing and miss here for Vincent. Kennedy struck her out the first time up on a rise ball. Did not hold up, so another strikeout for Kennedy, and that'll end the inning. We got a 1-run ball game coming up for Texas A&M. Perez, her last at-bat, golfed one out. It got out so fast she thought it hit the wall. Stopped at second, yay me, and then they said, nah, ride that horse and put on that howdy hat.
Last inning in the third, so it'll be interesting to see if Texas A&M tries to give Kennedy a little bit of a break, right? Try to extend the inning a little bit to let her have some downtime in the dugout.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that deep breath, right? So, okay, relax.
Yes.
It's just another game.
Well, it was interesting what Coach was talking about with Kennedy, maybe throwing through the spins.
Right back to Hurd, and she airmails it. Woolley headed for second, check. She's going to go for third. The throw on the way, and Coco turns a 5-foot hit into a triple.
Now that's what speed does. It just makes you make mistakes, and Hurd nowhere near first base, airmails that ball. That's her 3rd error of the year. And with the speed, Woolley's gonna get all the way to 3rd.
And that is their 3rd error of the night.
Yeah, and this is a South Carolina team that only had 27 errors coming into today, a .981 fielding percentage, one of the best in the game. Pressure, speed.
Yeah, so now it's South Carolina's turn to try and calm things down a little bit. They've done a good job of fighting their way back into this, but now A&M threatening to take care of their business as the bubbles fly outside their dugout. And with Woolley on base, here comes one of the home run hitters tonight, Maya Perez. The South Carolina defense, second in the league in fielding percentage, but 3 errors. E1, E3, E5 is tied for their second most in the game this year.
Well, and ironically, it's all the short, right?
Yeah.
It's the corners, it's the pitcher. And to me, that just screams a little bit of speed, a little bit. I'm pulling my head up because I'm worried about how quick that runner's getting down the line.
Ball.
Perez takes 1-1. Got her to swing at that one. The quick throw down. Woolley back to the base.
Job by Lexi Winters to snap through down to Chansey. On the defensive alignment for South Carolina, interesting. They have the corners back, they have the middles in. Look at where the middles are going to be well in, so anything struck, they try to go home. Corners, it's probably going to be ripped hard, give them a chance to field it.
Perez doesn't chase, full count. Chopped to second, and they had the runner, Woolley, between third and home, but they went to first base with it, and Coco comes in to score.
I think this is just a mental mistake by Shelton, not understanding the situation and really what she needed to do, because Woolley was not going anywhere. And this is a ball that gets to her. So look at where she's at. She's going to have the opportunity, because she is in, to make the play at home. And you can see that Coco is not going. Look, she is not going home and has the opportunity, doesn't look at her, doesn't try to run her back, just goes to first base, and because of that, easily allows A&M to plate another run.
Yeah, looked like she has a chance right there to run right at her.
And I understand you panicking on that play if it's a fast runner, but Perez was not going to fly down the baseline. She's more known for her power. So when you get her to roll, you induce that ground ball. That's a play you have to make. You have to push Coco back to third and get the out at first.
So Perez picks up her third RBI of the night with the ground out, and here's Mac Barbara. Has reached twice, a walk and an error. And now 3 times without a hit. Send it down to Holly.
Well, Coach Tricia Ford of Texas A&M says Mac Barbara is a professional hitter. After every at-bat, she will go back to the dugout, and she's got this journal. She will jot down notes from her at-bat, things that she wants to think about. But that example of how professionally she takes every at-bat is trickling down to the rest of the team. And there was a time this season where she wasn't doing well at the plate. She didn't know if she could really hit at this level transferring in from San Diego State, but she has stuck with her process. She's fighting through that, and you're seeing the results. She's getting much better as the SEC season continues.
Yeah, really good self-talk. She belongs, she can hit, and she can do it on this level. She's lifted for scout level. Mac can re-enter, but some more speed on the bases with Amari Harper swinging. Amari has walked and singled. Here's what Barbara's done in her last 8 games. 3 home runs, has driven in 8, hitting .471.
Remember, she switched defensive positions while she was DPing, but now she's catching. Usually you get into a new defensive position, it kind of distracts you at times. If anything, it's refocused her. Wow.
Texas A&M matching the Carolina run from the top half of the inning with one of their own here in the bottom. And looking for more with just the one out.
I think both these clubs will take a look at this game and some of the defensive mistakes that were made or pitches that were a little bit too sweet. And one of the things when you're in these tournaments with something on the line, understanding just how little adjustments can make a large difference.
Slow roller to second and through the wickets of the second baseman Shelton. She wanted interference on the runner. You saw the umpire wave, no contact, safe there. And now the Gamecocks want to talk about it. Ruling on the field is runners at first and third.
Oh, it looks like it hit her glove, potentially. Oh, and actually, Carly may have reached out and hit the runner. Gonna ask for some help from the other umpires. This does look like interference to me.
Birmingham, we're coming. The ruling on the field is that there's an obstruction on the play by the second baseman trying to field the ball. She created the contact with the runner. South Carolina is challenging the ruling of obstruction. The play is under further review.
Oh, so they're saying the ruling on the field was obstruction on the defense.
So I saw the umpire give the safe sign.
Yes.
I didn't see him put out the obstruction sign.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. There was obstruction. The runner is placed at third base. South Carolina's first challenge.
So basically the ruling is because Carly reached out and touched.
Instigated.
Yep, touched. See how she reaches out there. And then because her arms are up reaching out to the runner, the ball goes through her legs. If she would have just played the ball instead of the runner, she would have put herself in a better position to either get interference or make the out.
So I think he's just warned the dugout of South Carolina. Or did he argue the second baseman? Yeah, Shelton with a warning.
Yeah, I think Shelton was disagreeing with the call and got a warning.
All right, here's we're ready to go. So with one out, runners on the corners for KK Dement. That was off the first pitch.
Well, this is another one of those funny innings that really South Carolina has not helped themselves in the error. Ended up scoring on a little bit of a defensive miscue on a ground out. And now the defensive obstruction after a walk. A&M has not gotten a hit yet in the inning.
Ground ball, stepping on the bases. Sheldon throws to first, and it pulls the first baseman, Rhodey, off the base. And Lovell comes in to score. It's 6-3.
Good job by Shelton to pick this up, step on second base, and then the throw over to first. Yeah, but Rhodey not even on the bag.
Boy, the ball was going to get there in time for the double play. Things have unraveled a bit here for South Carolina defensively. Now they have an E1, an E3, an E4, and an E5 tonight.
Defensive obstruction. It's,
well, they've called that an error.
oh, they did call that an error, so another one. So
E4 and 4.
it should be 4 errors.
Yeah, and there's a base hit. Enright adds to the inning. Her first hit of the night, so now 8 of 9 Aggies have reached base. And we may see a pitching change here for the Gamecocks. Change coming. Back in a moment. 43 pitches tonight for Jory Hurd through 2 innings. An earned run in, and she is lifted. And the number 8 hitter, Kramer Eshte. Only Aggie who has yet to reach. Lamb came on to pick up a win against Alabama in game 3 of their series. They took 2 of 3 from the Tide late in the year. Trying to lay down the bunt. 1 and 2.
Reading what the defense is doing as well. Rhodey comes in. Chansey goes back to the bag at third.
Well, through the first 54 games of the season, a half an error a game. Tonight, 4 of them. And they have been damaging, as they usually are. Oh, a punch out. And that will end the inning. But another cricket number for A&M.
Neely Lamb coming in to try to close the door, get out of the jam, and she does with this changeup on the outer half, picks up the strikeout.
Where everybody's going for the NCAA tournament. This is always fun to watch, the regional seed bubble. You get a top 16 seed, and you get to host as the bunt trickles foul. A couple of things to remember there, of course, is that Stanford cannot host. Even if they have a seed, they would be on the road.
It's going to be complicated this year. I feel like we're going to have a lot of questions when we talk to the committee. So
yeah, there's been a lot of parity around. Of course, all the changes at number 1, and you know, with all the realignment, some ups and downs for a lot of different teams. And Quincy Lilio sends that one out. Right back at you for the Gamecocks.
This is a team that continues to fight, continues to define themselves in really an outstanding season. Lilio is the leadoff hitter and just takes a pitch that's elevated slightly on the outer half and drives that out of the park. That's her first home run of the year.
Both leadoffs have homered tonight.
For the first home runs of the year. And that was also an 0-2 pitch. So I'm sure Coach Ford is going to be talking with Kennedy a little bit about, all right, 0-2, let's expand the zone. Let's not get a little too sweet.
That was a no-doubter.
Shelton had a home run herself, 4th of the year on a changeup on an 0-1 pitch.
Still some smoke from Emily, 71 miles an hour. Ground ball to third, 1 down. So for South Carolina, a run in the second, a run in the third, a run in the fourth, and now in the 5th. Pow.
Wow, look at the backside rotation, the bat head just coming through, the emotion. And that's why you look back, that's why last innings was so damaging.
That's her first home run since 2023. And that was the only other one she's hit in her college career. Polaroid is developing. There's Rhodey, struck out twice. And draws a walk. Holly?
Well, that home run was so big for Quincy Lilio. She has had a really challenging career so far. She was a highly recruited player out of Oceanside, California. Went to Oklahoma and just could not break into the lineup. Only got a handful of starts, but she didn't lose faith. She came to Texas A&M, and Coach Trisha Ford said, you know, I've given her some freedom to mess up. She's so hard on herself. She wanted to be perfect and felt like she had to be, and so she's kind of fallen back in love with the game, not having so much pressure on her. She's really rejoined her faith. She's learned that her identity is much more than just softball, and you can see some of that pressure easing off of her shoulders. First home run since 2023. She's rediscovering the love of the game and the love for hitting the ball just like that.
Yeah, that's Ashley Chastain Woodard talking about one of her star additions. And now Lexi Winters, 100th pitch of the night coming.
Well, it was interesting too that Coach Woodard said that, you know, she fell back in love with the game again. And, you know, sometimes when it's all work and there's pressure to perform, you don't get the opportunities. It's easy to just get disconnected with the game. You know, one thing I've enjoyed about watching the South Carolina team is they do look joyful. They do look like they're having fun. Even when they're down by a couple runs, there's a lot of fight. There's a lot of belief.
Well, they're trying to mount a second comeback of the evening. After falling behind 4-1 and 6-3. Winners. Mathis under it. 2 down. That'll bring up Ella Chansey. Walked and scored in the 4th. That was a 10-pitch at-bat. She and Brooke Blankenship that inning. Got Kennedy's pitch count up to 20 pitches just between the two of them.
Both these clubs have worked the pitchers hard. All the pitchers hard this evening.
Two and one. Chansey, the opposite way. On the run, on the line, and the catch is made by Mathis. But another run across on a home run ball.
How about Q Lilio in the leadoff spot going yard, get around this 0-2 pitch and driving it out of the yard. That solo shot gets South Carolina some life here late in the game. Quincy, she's dancing and she's posing. Strike a pose. Q.
South Carolina, Aggies forward. There's 6 runs coming in via the home run ball. And Carolina getting them out as well. Quincy Lilio and Carly Shelton. They're #1 and #2 hitters going deep. Both leadoffs have hit their first home runs of the year tonight.
Crazy night.
And it continues into the bottom of the 5th. With Kelsey Mathis. Single, run scored. 9, and then the top of the order to face Neely Lamb. She's the 3rd Gamecock pitcher of the night. Backing up the shortstop Blankenship, and the throw is high, and Mathis is safe.
This is one of those plays as a shortstop. You have to make that decision. Are you going to retreat on it, or you're going to go get it? And Mathis, even though she's from that right side, she runs well. Blankenship is going to go back on this ball, and it's a long, high throw. Good job by Mathis to get down the line.
Fouled out of play, Kennedy Powell. 2-run home run in the 2nd. And a couple of ground outs to the right side. She did not like her effort on that one. That's good news for Aggie fans. 29-0 when they score 6 or more, and they've got 6. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Lamb.
Lamb can be deceptive because she really comes up over that front side to throw that drop ball low in the zone.
Here comes Coco Woolley. Woolley a couple of singles and reached on an error, so all 3 plate appearances. She scored twice. I mean, this is what you're looking for, top of your lineup. Top 3 have scored 4 runs.
Yeah, they've been relentless. A lot of good at-bats.
Dropping down the bunt, and it stays fair. And they got her. Good throw from Baldwin, or Winters, who has checked back in behind the plate.
This is all about speed. This is what Coco does best. She's going to lay this down. Great job by Winters to come out and have to make a tough throw down the line.
Ruling on the field is that the runner is out at first base. Texas A&M is challenging the ruling at first base. Please under further review.
All right, the ruling on the field was out at first.
Well, look at the stretch by Rhodey. See, Rhodey is stretching to the side instead of to the ball.
Look at that toe. That's going to touch the base first.
The question is, she on the base? It looks like she is to me.
Does the toe touch the front of the base?
After further review, the play at first base has been changed. The runner is safe at first base. It's Texas A&M's first challenge of the game.
So a good challenge there. Woolley is safe.
Game-changing speed by Woolley getting on that line.
And now runners on first and second with Maya Perez coming up.
Now batting is Maya Perez.
Here's Perez. Blocked by Winters. Maya, 2-run home run in the second inning. Also drove in a run with a ground out in the fourth.
So much power. And look how far off the plate she is. Front side open. And that is a good pitch to challenge her on the inner half. But it's hard to do when hitters are that far off the plate. Sometimes you're thinking, okay, are they trying to bait me into throwing on that inner half? I already saw what she can do on pitches on the outside.
Leaves the yard. And that one will bound away from Winters. The runners will move up. So 2-2. RBI opportunities here for Perez. And she golfs that one out to right. Mathis is in. Here comes Woolley, uncontested to the plate. 5 RBI night for Maya Perez, and it's 8-4.
This time Maya Perez goes to that second base position, but on the line drive is going to get it over Shelton's head. And because of that wild pitch, a couple of pitches earlier, it allows both runners to get into scoring position. This is just great hitting. This is a pitch on the inner half where they went earlier. Perez, fooled by it just a little bit, makes the adjustment on this, whacks that into right field, picks up 2 more big RBIs.
What a night for her.
Yeah.
Second most for her in a game this year. And now Mac Barbara.
Now batting number 31, Mac Barbara.
Mack has reached 3 times. A couple of walks, reached on an error. Two and 0.
Well, for A&M, this is really part of the lineup that's just so hard to get through. Perez and Barbara, you know, Barbara just does a great job at protecting Perez. And then you have Harper with the great batting average that protects Barbara. They battle in their at-bats. They become choosy.
.30 pitch. Not even close. And she is on base for the 4th time without hardly even swinging.
Fourth ball of the game given up by South Carolina pitchers.
Amari Harper has also reached 3 times, once on a single. And base hit up the middle. Perez gonna hold, and so is Barbara, and the bases are loaded. Fourth hit of the inning. All of them singles.
And I think Perez was wanting to score on that. Jeff Harger over at third base was like, no, 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 get back to the bag.
Well, that was probably a smart decision by Harger, because now, if my math is right, a Granny's going to win it.
Your math is correct.
Thank you very much for the double check. Appreciate that.
I'm here to back you up.
KK Dement, 2 grand slams this season. Check this out, too, for the Aggies. They left the bases loaded in the first. They left the bases loaded again in the second, with a couple of cracks at grand slams. Dement had a chance in the first, popped up to short.
Oh, she's familiar with hitting grand slams in this ballpark. Last time she did that, and she played Georgia.
So it's possible one swing away from Texas A&M in the semifinals tomorrow, with the 8-run rule looming. Dement, that won't leave the yard, but that'll do some damage. Perez is in, Barbara's in, and the throw to the plate is cut off as Harper comes in. A 3-run double for Dement.
Wow, both the last 2 hitters, first pitch swinging, it's aggressive. Harper with the base hit, and then Dement, the freshman, KK, getting this ball into the gap, just explodes on an inside pitch. Great rotation, barrels that up, full extension. You could hear it off the bat. You knew that was going all the way to the wall, and so did her teammates, Perez, Barbara, Harper, easily scoring from first. Harper coming around.
So with 1 out, the game winner at second base, and it's Allie Enright stepping up. Enright pops it up, 2 down. May have a pinch hitter coming up here. Nope, they're going to stay with Kramer Echte, who is the 9th to the plate, the only one that has not reached tonight. That other first pitch swinging. They get the run in from second. It's a run rule. It's a win for A&M. That would be great news for the Aggies, because that could shorten their night. They have to a quicker turnaround. Texas would be the more rested team. They await in the semis the winner of this game. We'll get underway tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2 with Oklahoma and Arkansas. That's the 1 seed and the 5 seed.
Oh, Beth, to your point, Emily Kennedy already has 105 pitches through 5 innings here, so not having to put any more stress on her arm would be a pretty big deal.
One, two to Eshte. 2-2. Senior from Brenham, Texas. Full count. Another 3-2 pitch to Eshte. Ground ball to second, and it bounces out into right field. Here comes Dement to the plate, and she'll slide in safely. And on the error, Texas A&M wins it. And walks it off with a run rule, 12-4.
Great job by Texas A&M to capitalize on the South Carolina miscues this evening. The errors, 5 on the evening. 4 free passes that hurt as well. This is a Texas A&M team that came out and got a good performance from Kennedy and got the big hits when they needed it.
All 9 end up reaching for the Aggies, their first run rule in the SEC tournament. They have 3 wins all time.